Hey, good afternoon guys, Steve Cat5JUF. Hey, I wanted to show you something I've done. I recently got my GMRS license, probably about 3 months ago, and I've always had a dilemma. I didn't really want to put up another dedicated GMRS antenna, so I did some testing and I was able to get my GP3 to actually work pretty well on GMRS. It runs an SWR of about 2, but I wanted to show you how I now have my VHF, UHF / GMRS all in the base, and all without having to move any cables over or anything like that. I basically can work ham radio on the FTM300, and then I've got the UV, the BF, whatever this bow thing is here. This is the BF-F8 Pro bow thing. And this will also, of course, do ham, but I primarily use this for GMRS. So what I did was, since my GP3 antenna will resonate at about 2 SWR in the GMRS band, I decided to redo my cabling a little bit. And what I did was, now I have a switch back here. I'll show you this switch. And what I have is, get this cable out of the way. What you have here, this goes to the GP3 antenna up on the roof, about 30 feet up in the air. I have another coax that goes specifically to this SWR meter, which I'll have to show you. I've got an SWR meter right there. Get that cable out of the way. And then from that SWR meter, it goes right there to the Broadband radio. So what I did now is I basically got on this switch, I've got the GMRS radio, which is the bow thing, and then I've got the ham, which is the FTM300 that I have right up here. So now what I can do is I can basically listen to ham and also listen to GMRS. But what I do is, now is on my FTM300, what I did is I programmed on the second BFO, I programmed in the local repeater here, the Tri-County repeater. They call it Tri-County. It's WRND785. Cody repeater is also what they call it. It's the GMRS repeater here in the Abilene area. So I listen here, so if someone's talking on GMRS, I'll hear them on the second VFO on the FTM300, but on the VFO-A, this one's the one I work ham on. So if I hear somebody talking on GMRS, I can't transmit on this radio, but what I can do is I can go down here to my switch and I just switch it from ham to GMRS, and then I use my Baofeng radio to transmit on. So basically now I don't have to swap cables, I don't have to run a second antenna, I don't have to do any of that. I basically can monitor GMRS on the FTM300, and also I work on the VFO-A. I work all the ham frequencies on the FTM300, and I can do the same thing on the Baofeng, but I primarily, again, I use that for the local repeater here and of course the 22 channels. So let me show you what some of the numbers look like. So let me reposition the camera in front of the SWR meter. So what I want to do now on the Tri-County repeater, I'm running low power on the GMS, on the Baofeng, which is about 2 watts. And that's really all I need because I've got the GP3. Now what I want you to look at real quick when I key up is what the SWR does on the antenna here. Now right now I'm transmitting on the Tri-County repeater, which is right at, I think the frequency, frequency is, let's see, frequency is 462.675. So I'm going to be transmitting 5 megahertz up. That'll be 467. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to key up, and I want you to notice what the what the SWR is. It's going to be right about 2.5. WSIS 829 monitoring, WSIS 829 monitoring, WSIS 829. Now you see right there where those lines cross, That was about 2.5, and that's a little high, but we can tolerate that at 2 watts. That's not really a big deal. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go to one of the other local channels, GMRS 22, and I'm going to key up, and I want you to watch. It's going to go roughly to about 2. WSIS 829, monitoring WSIS 829. Now this one here, we're running high power, which is running about 5 watts. What the Baofeng does is it does actually cut back the power a little bit, because what I have done is in the past is I've actually ran the Baofeng on some of the ham frequencies, and it'll run up to 10 watts on high power. So the Baofeng does actually cut back when the SWR is high. But the beauty of this is I can now talk on GMRS, I can listen on GMRS, and if someone's on GMRS, I can hear them on the second VFO, and of course if they get on the air, I can go over here, I can go down to my antenna switch down here, and I can just simply flip the antenna over to the Baofeng, and then I can transmit on them. So this is my little cable here that I use. But the ideal here is I can now basically just, you know, easily work ham and of course GMRS. Now the SWR meter is only in series for the Baofeng radio. I don't have a GMRS on the FTM300, but anyway, basically just a real quick recap. My coax is DXE400 Max, running about 50 feet up to the antenna. And then I've got several 3-foot sections that you'll see over here. These are some of the 3-foot sections that I have here for my various jumpers and so forth. Antennas GP3, 30 feet up in the air. And I've got some information on how to get your GMRS license and stuff. I went to some of these web pages and they're actually down because of the government shutdown. But anyway, I also have some information on some of the, I'll show you over here on the computer screen real quick. I'll show you. I've got some information on some of the different things I've looked at for GMRS. Basically, one thing I will share with you, this antenna right here, this is a magnet mount. It's the one I use for my ham, but what I found out was this CA2X4 SRMMO, that's a broadbanded antenna, meaning it will work on GMRS. And I've tested it, and it runs a real good SWR, and it works. So this antenna right here, if you buy this antenna, this CA2X4SR, I got the NMO connection, it will work perfectly on GMRS as it will ham. That's the magnetic mount that I got. That's the SWR meter that I'm using here. That's the little interface cable, so I'll put all the links in here, and of course there's Chirp that I use to program the Baofeng. But anyway, it's just a real quick recap. This allows you now to basically you know, get on, you know, I moved the FTM300 into the base now. Now I can get 50 watts on simplex, and I'm also can monitor the GMRS channels, and if any activity comes on, I just basically go over to my little switch down there and switch over to the Baofeng, and then I can talk GMRS. So anyway, I just wanted to share with you kind of what's going on, and you know, that's the FTM FT991A. There's the VibraFlex key right there. I've also got a little charging station right here for the Baofeng, but that thing gets a little noisy on 40 meters, so you have to kind of charge it when you're not on 40 meters. But anyway, just wanted to share with you an idea to get GMRS, ham, all on the GP3. And it is a little bit of a compromise, but hey, you know what, at 30 feet up in the air, I can talk, my neighbor and I, we have done simplex into his walkie-talkie. And we've talked probably a good 7 or 8 miles, you know, with a good signal. So anyway, just an idea to share with you. 73.